And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another movie review. Not movie review, fuck. Game review. Game review. I just filmed some movie reviews, so I got it mixed up. Yeah, another game review today. Today I'm reviewing The Last of Us Part 2, released in 2020 on PS4. Um, yeah, Last of Us Part 2. Everybody knows The Last of Us. A lot of people don't even not know that there's a Last of Us Part 2. I didn't for the longest time. But after playing the first game, I was like, I have to play the second game. So I did. Finally picked it up. I streamed all of my gameplay, so you can go check that out um, if you're curious on how the gameplay was. But I got a lot of things to say about this game, so I got a lot. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? First off, this was the first PS4 game that I saw that took 2 discs. I do know that I think they were meaning for it to come out for PS5. This came out a few months before the PS5 did. So they were probably beefing it up for PS5, so that's probably why they needed 2 discs for the PS4 version. But it's kind of interesting, Never seen a 2 disc for PS4. I thought we were done with that once the PS4 generation came in, but I guess not. I guess not. Let's just put the obvious out of the way. The story of this game is still incredibly good. It's still super awesome. It catches your eye at every turn. So many breathtaking moments and just so many. It really is cinematic. They do an incredible job. I was a bit skeptical going in because I didn't really think The Last of Us needed a second game. I think it was inevitable how successful it was, but I didn't think the story needed to continue. I think it was just fine where it left off. I didn't really think we needed another game, but here we are. So obviously, when you have a game that's good on its own, you gotta be careful with making another story because you don't want to ruin the first game's reputation. And I don't think that was the case here. I think the story wise, at least, I think they kept it just as good, and I really really liked it. So, the whole stuff with Ellie is awesome. And I'll get a little bit into more specific details a little bit later here, but both the Abby and Ellie get parts of the game were really good. Story wise, especially the conflicting viewpoints and all that sort of stuff. So, gameplay wise, there was still some stuff left to be desired. I felt like it looks and plays a lot like the first game. There really isn't much of a graphical or gameplay upgrade. It's a lot of the same stuff. There are some new weapons. There are some new stealth modes to do, new other types of weapons, that kind of stuff. And there are new landscapes to explore. Like you do explore a lot more of Seattle. There's a lot more stuff about Jackson, Wyoming, Santa Barbara as well. So there's all that. So you do get to, and some other areas around that part of the country that you get to explore. So there's at least new environments, but as far as like resolution and graphical wise, it is pretty much the same. So, and I didn't really think it needed an upgrade, but you know, would have liked maybe seen a little bit more, but I can't really complain. Oh boy. There are some there are some things about this game that people do not like, but I'll get to those in a minute. First off, killing dogs, automatic L. It's a massive L for this game. I hate that we have to do it, and it is very hard to do. I don't like doing that. Okay? Maybe leave animals out of this. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. Naughty Dog. Also, my god, stalkers suck. I don't recall stalkers being as bad before. I don't even remember really fighting many stalkers in the first game. But my god, they are awful. They are awful. Like at least with the other types, you can fight them head on. You can, they don't like hide from you and then just come out of nowhere and fucking attack. And oh, by the way, they can take like 5 shotgun bullets. Um, yeah, fuck. I hate stalkers so much. They really fucking suck. The other really hard infected fight is one that's going on the hardest video game levels list, the Rat King boss fight. I'll talk about more about that in the review, or in that when I eventually do a list update, which will be a while down the line. There haven't been many additions or changes to that list since the video came out, so I think I'm going to leave it as it is right now, at least for a little while longer. But the Rat King fight, my god, is it difficult. And it's just so dark. I mean, I had to maximize the brightness on my game just because I could not see what I was doing. But then I found out that you just throw pipe bombs at it and it dies. Yay! Pipe bombs! Woo! Killed it in 2 pipe bombs. I also did like that they touched on a lot more like modern stuff that, you know, you didn't really like. Being a post-apocalyptic world, you wouldn't think about touching on these things when making a game like this. But they like touched on homosexuality. Ellie is a lesbian. She dates a lady in this game, Dina. So there's that, and also transgender with Lev, I think is the kid, with Abby's part of the game. So I think both of those were done really, really well. You know, it wasn't anything that was like forced in. I think it's incorporated really, really well, and gets an effective point across about it, because that's something that people are not super fond with this game. There's really 3 things that people do not like about this game. 3 big points, and one of them is that. But I can say automatically, fuck those people. Fuck those people. They are heavy Republicans, and they hate anything that they don't align with. Fuck those people. Do not listen to those people. It's fine. It's fine. It worked in really well in the game. But let's get to the other 2 things that people don't like. First off, Joel's death. Sorry guys, if you did not know, Joel dies in this game pretty early on. I think his death is not great, but not for the same reasons other than people like. A lot of people don't like it because he dies. Sorry to burst your bubble. Joel had to die. That's the whole reason this game exists, is because Joel has to die. Joel is not a good person. Joel does a lot of bad things to get through his way in life. But Joel is written as such a sympathetic character because of his background, because of his relationship with Ellie. So yeah, it is sad when he dies, but it's not surprising. It was going to catch up with him eventually. And so I think killing off Joel was the right move for this game. However, I don't like when he's killed off. He's killed off very early on in the game. And the whole theme of the game, the whole driver for the plot point after that is revenge. Even leading up to his death, that's the whole point he dies, is for revenge. Because he killed the doctor in Seattle. And I gotta say, I don't like that he dies so early on in the game. Because it leaves a very narrow path for the game to go down. And I think it does get beaten into the ground just a little bit. Just a little bit. I would have liked to see a little bit more of Joel. I would have liked to see him maybe survive until about the halfway point in the game and then die. So that we could have gotten maybe a little bit more stuff with him and Ellie. Gotten a little bit more, you know, it's not so drawn out. It's a fairly long game. And Joel dies within the first couple hours. So you have to, you know, realize that. And then they kind of back themselves into a corner, so to say. But Joel's death had to happen. That's that. You know, people are mad that he's dead. Yeah, you could be sad that he's dead. It's a very sad moment. It's supposed to be a sad moment. You know, his character is like super important in video game history now, and like it's done so well that obviously, yeah, it's supposed to tug at the heartstrings. It's literally what you're supposed to do. But it had to happen. Otherwise, this game makes 0 sense. The other part, the third part, so I can understand why people are mad at Joel's death. That's explaining why they should be mad, because they're not mad for the right reasons. But what about the third part? And that third part is Abby. The other main character in this game, besides Ellie, is Abby. Abby's the one that kills Joel. Abby's the daughter of the doctor who dies in the Seattle hospital at the end of the first game. And actually, this was an interesting decision from the developers, but I liked it, that we play about half of this game as Abby. You play the first half, for the most part, as Ellie, from her perspective as she witnesses Joel's death and then goes on the hunt to find Abby in Seattle. And then, right as the big fight's about to break out, you restart at Abby's point of view. You get the build-up of why she would be on this revenge arc, and then you go and, take her point of view as she's going through the same days that Ellie was going through to track her down. And then you get the big fight, and then you go back to playing as Ellie for the last couple hours. For the most part, you do play a little bit more section as Abby. But most part, it is Ellie. And it's like a couple hours. It's not very much after you get done with the Abby part, but... And it pains me because I was on the train that the Abby part was not going to be that good. I was not very... I knew that the Abby part was coming. I wasn't a very big fan of it. But after playing it, I gotta say, the Abby part of the game is better than the Ellie part of the game. It is. It very much is. And mostly I think that's because there were a lot more things to focus on. Ellie's part of the game is very driven on finding Abby and getting revenge for Joel's death. So things can get a little dull from there. There is some, extra character development that we go on with, finding out Dina's pregnant and their whole relationship and everything like that. There's a couple of things with Jesse as well, and a little bit of things with Tommy, but not really. It's mostly just, you're hunting down. You're on a straight path, ready to get her. With Abby, there's a lot more things going on. There's her relationships with her friends. There's, the civil war going on between the WLF and the Seraphites, and then she meets Lev and the other girl, and meets up with them, and then you've got the whole stuff with those two, and then she turning on the WLF and trying to help these people at the same time, and also dealing with the loss of her friends, trying to find the Fireflies. There's a lot more things to focus on, a lot more directions for the plot to go, which works in the game's favor. And I think it was also a newer story, new characters, all that sort of jazz. Really helped keep it fresh. And I really was happy about the Abby part of the game. There were so many cool plot twists, plot points that I was just very invested in. Not that I wasn't invested in the Ellie portion of the game, but I think that the Abby portion was done better, which was a pleasant surprise for me. I was really expecting it to suck, and it didn't. But I think they set Abby up to fail in this game. Because you gotta remember, we've played as Ellie, or followed Ellie in our journey, for a game and a half at this point when we do play as Abby, when we start Abby's main portion of the game. So we already have this pre-existing relationship with Ellie. We already know a lot about her. We're already going to be on her side, obviously. She's the protagonist of this story. And so when we get to Abby, the game wants us to sympathize with Abby and think Ellie is the enemy. And the intention, I believe, is to have us choose, do we want to support Ellie or do we want to flip and support Abby? But then you finish the game playing as Ellie. And so it's making you think that the correct choice is Ellie. So why would anybody like to play as Abby, right? It's really setting it up not for greatness, I would say. Which just sucks, again, because the Abby portion is better. It's really good. And, the game is not is trying to make it so she's not good. You know what I'm saying? And it's all like even the fights. Ellie and Abby fight twice in the game. The first time they fight is right after you finish the Abby portion of the game, and you play as Abby fighting Ellie. Both people are relatively healthy, all that sort of jazz. And Ellie gets the upper hand to win the fight. But the second time you fight him at the very end of the game, you play as Ellie fighting Abby. And Abby is much weaker at this point. Ellie's not doing great either, but Abby's weaker, beaten down. You know, she's been captured by the Rattlers for a while now. So it also sets Ellie up to win. It's kind of like a, double thing that's going on here. So it's kind of my whole thoughts on that. But you also don't kill dogs in Abby's portion of the game, at least as many dogs. So that's a win for Abby's portion. But yeah, like I said, Abby's portion is much better than Ellie's portion. And I think people, again, when they have the saying, oh, yeah, Abby's part's terrible, why would they even have it? Just, like, it's a very narrow-minded viewpoint to have. It's a very narrow-minded viewpoint to be opposed to the homosexuality and all that sort of stuff in the game, too. The only concern that I think really makes any sense here is Joel's death. And it's really the only concern about this game that I think people are more validated, because it is not put in, it's not executed as good as I thought it could be, Fuck. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay. One's coming on? Nope, we're good. Okay. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, I think they set Abby up to fail. That's my other thing is, like, they've hinted that there is going to be a third game, which again, I really don't think that's necessary. But again, money talks, so they're probably going to do it. I would not be surprised if we don't see any Abby. It's definitely going to be an Ellie story, and I don't see a reason where Abby needs to be there. I would not be surprised if, like, Abby just makes a cameo reference or something. Which sucks, because I think she was a great character in this game. I really do. So that's that. That was the basis of the concerns about the game. I just wanted to, like, give my thoughts on those. A couple other things. This is a very dark and gruesome game. Not that the first game isn't. It's also a very dark and gruesome game with a lot of, dark deaths, emotional moments. And this game also does not lie when it comes to really putting the pressure on for that. Like when Lev kills his mom. That's a really fucked up part of the game. Very fucked up. How about the very end of the game when Ellie's two of Ellie's fingers are bit clean off by Abby? What the fuck? Like, I get you want to symbolize that Ellie can't play the guitar anymore and she's lost her all sense of humility, but god damn, that's fucking gruesome. Like, the Rat King fight, as far as, like, that's on paper supposed to be the most gruesome part of the game, but not even close compared to some of this other stuff. God damn. And another thing, one more thing that I was not a huge fan of with the game, or felt a little redundant, is that Ellie goes on this whole mission to track down Abby 2 separate times. She goes all the way there and doesn't finish the job. Like, it's supposed to be this moment of, like, coming to terms with everything and realizing that cycle of revenge is not the way to go. But come on. She literally got her fingers bit off and didn't finish the job. She lost her girlfriend, wife even, She got exiled from Jackson. She lost the respect from Tommy. She lost Joel. And what happens? That. It's not a very satisfying. I don't know if I want to call it satisfying. I don't know if it's a very satisfying ending to the game because, and like, it makes sense. I'm not like mad at the decision for that to happen. You could kind of sense that it was going to be this way, but like, I don't know. I mean, Ellie goes down a very dark path in this game, and ultimately she faces her worst fear of being alone, because she is alone by the end of the game. And it just, I don't know, it's just not, it's something that I feel like they were intentionally setting it up for a third game. That's just kind of what I'm saying. I don't like it, but it is what it is. You know, there's a lot of things that I didn't like in this game, but it is what it is. You know, there's gonna be some things that you don't like that you're just gonna have to deal with because they're important for moving on with the game. You know what I mean? So that's that. So it's kind of cool, but that's my thoughts on this game. It's a good game. It's a really good game. It'll probably be in my top 25 favorite games. Maybe an honorable mention. I don't know. Probably just gonna be an honorable mention. But it's really, really good. So for my final score, probably have to give this a good 8 out of 10. I really, really like this game. And if you liked the first game, you are 100% going to like this game. As long as you don't have a very right-wing, narrow-minded viewpoint about it, as most people do, you're going to be fine. So that's going to do it for this review. If they do make a third game, I will buy it. I mean, come on. Why wouldn't I? But yeah, that's going to do it for this review. Again, if you want to see any gameplay or any more expanded thoughts about this game that I might have, go check out my live streams of me playing this game. I streamed all of my gameplay for it, so you can go check that out in the live streams area. Go check that out. So, if you guys, let me know your thoughts about this game now. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Do you like it? Do you not? Why? What do you think of some of the points that I made? Are they valid? Are they not? Let me know. I'm very interested. So, and you might be wondering, oh, you're gonna talk about the show? No, you're gonna talk about the show now. So here's where I am on the show. I finished the first season, and I started the second season. So I'm debating whether I want to do a show versus game comparison of each season, or do one as a whole, because the third season, which is going to be the Abby portion of the game, it's not coming out till 2027. I don't know if I want to wait that long to talk about the first game and the first season. So we'll see. We'll say right now, the show is not a good representation of the second game. It's not. It's bad. I'm a couple episodes in, and those are supposed to be the good episodes. And even so, I can tell it's not great. So. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned for other much more amazing content, including more game reviews. I got a few more that I want to do, including another one that I will be streaming very soon. So stay tuned for that. Other much more amazing content. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.